Hello, everyone. Hope you're well. First of all, thank you. And this is my first episode of recording a new live stream, which I call Reflection Friday. My intention is quite simple. I want to give myself a new habit, a new routine, a new structure where before I end my work week, I want to be able to look back on the week and see what is something that I've learned throughout the week and what can I do differently to apply this lesson moving forward into either it's my work, either it's my own personal life, for example, and hope to use this channel to be able to share some of the lessons that I've learned with you. And this is the first time I'm streaming on LinkedIn as well. So I applied for LinkedIn Live and LinkedIn said, no, you're not good enough. And then all of a sudden they gave me to say, actually, we think you could do it. And I was like, oh, now I've got no reason to say not to do it, right? So that's why I'm here. So nice to see you all, first of all. And I want to share a lesson today. And it's about this. It's about the illusion of growth and comfort zone. And where I learned this lesson is by this, right? So I attended this online event last weekend, and as I was sort of going through all the notes that I was making, there was one lesson. Camera is off, so give me a second. I'm back. Okay, so as I was going through my my notes, right, there's one lesson that really just sort of like stuck with me, and it's this concept of, do you want to just feel good or make a real change and be addicted to taking uncomfortable action? So that message really sort of stuck with me, and it reminds me of an event that I went to previously, and I remember this question so vividly, and I want to just sort of share this with you. And the question that I remember was, we're in a setting, you know, and then the speaker went on stage. He asked a question, and I'll tell you what my response is, and we'll see whether sort of our responses match with others. So the question that got asked was, if you have to rate your life overall from 0 to 10, what score would it be? So I thought, oh, okay, 7 or 8. And then it transpires that actually, you know what, if you rate yourself as a 10, life is amazing, everything is great, blah, 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 it's good. If you rate yourself as a 2 or a 3, you're like, okay, I'm not really happy, I feel really painful, I need to do something about it. But when you range sort of between 7 and 8, that's where the illusion or the danger zone comes in, right? I want to explain this concept a bit better, so let me share this, right? So what I've learned is, I want to share, this is a lesson that I want to share today, is this, right? So if you imagine this is our comfort zone, right? Imagine there is such a thing, there is a circle, etc. We know that there isn't, but let's just imagine there is for a second, right? And let's assume, and we all know, right, in any personal development or whatever you go to, everyone will tell you that growth sits outside of your comfort zone, right? So if I have to rate this area here, let's say 0, 1, 2, blah, 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 blah. This is 7, this is 8, 9, 10. This 7 or 8 is where we call the danger zone. And it's dangerous because here, these people over here are very painful. They know that they're not happy with their life. They want to do something about it. There's an incentive, a motivation, a motive for them to do something to head towards that direction. These people, their life is sorted, right? They're like, I'm good, I'm content, I appreciate everything I've got, I can live an amazing life, everything is great. Here is where you're not that painful to do something about it. Life is kind of okay, but not as good as you want it to be, right? And for me, that is such an interesting concept, because what I realized, and through attending this event, was that I realized that I've been in this zone for a really, really long time, right? Like, got a great job, everything is going okay, but I know that there is more. I know that I'm stuck in this sort of 7 or 8, and I know that I can do more. So now the question becomes, what do you need to do to break out of this 7 or 8 cycle to get into the 9? Because the truth is, when you're in 7 or 8, you're kind of like, okay, I know I'm better than those people who are in 6 and 5s and 4s. I know I've still got rooms, and I have the illusion of thinking that, oh, you know what, I'm still heading towards the direction. I'm kind of okay. I'm learning bits here. I'm learning bits there. It's okay. I'm still doing my job, but I'm not actually focusing on the tasks that actually move the needle. And I think that is the challenge for me, which is, am I doing the things that are actually moving the needle? Am I taking the actions that are required to move to those 9 and 10 zone? And I think, let me just put myself back on, right? And I think this is where what I want to share today is, are you in that 7 or 8 zone as well? Because the truth is, it's easy to get stuck there. It's easy to get stuck there quite a lot of time, because everyone tells us to say, we need to appreciate what we've got. So then you start to look at all those 4s, 5s, and 6s, and you go, I'm not too bad. But then there's this 9 and 10, you know that there's a next level, but the actions that you need to take is going to be a little bit different, you know? And for me, it's not just about taking uncomfortable action, putting yourself out there. It's also about letting go some of the beliefs that you have, some of the values that you've always hold, some of those identities, some of what people think you're doing, some of people's judgment. We need to start to let go of all these things in order to get to that next level, because it's not so much about what you do, it's also about how you think. So this is why, you know, I'm doing all this like live streaming, etc., because I want to give myself that challenge to go, I'm stuck in this 7 or 8 cycle for 2 or 3 years now. What can I do to really move the needle, to learn how to present, to learn how to share ideas, to learn how to help someone who might be in the same position to think a little bit differently and apply this into their own situations, right? Because we all want to have some level of growth at some points. And here's one thing I want to clarify, right? Let me just bring this back. Now, I want to say something. If you are someone, because when I start to get into all this, if someone will say, oh, not everyone like to have growth, not everyone want to develop, like stop pushing all those things on me, etc., etc. And I just thought one thing, there's just one thing I want to say, which is, let me bring out a different color, right? I just want to say one thing. I absolutely believe there's nothing wrong about being here, right? About being absolutely comfort, as long as you're comfortable with that idea, right? I told some of my coaches as well, you know, like there's, you know, sometimes I coach some students and then they're like, oh, how can I find motivation? And I was like, why do you need motivation? Like, if you're happy, completely happy where you are, you should just be okay with the fact that I'm actually okay where I am. I don't need to go that extra step, and that's completely fine. Like, no one says you have to. We only want to do it because we see all those people on social media and this and that, like everyone's doing all these things, like, oh, I'm not watching this guy doing this and I feel like I need to do something about it. But if you don't, and you're actually happy, comfortable with the fact that you don't want to do anything about it, like, that's completely okay. But if there is a little part of you that goes, you know what, I actually can go to this level, I just don't know how, then you have some internal conflicts, haven't you? It's like, well, I'm kind of here, but I know I can be here, but I keep telling myself I'm to be here. It's like, hang on a second, you want to go to the next level, but you just keep telling yourself the story that I want to be in this area. You're not making your life any easier, are you? So my thought is that if you're really happy by staying in your comfort zone and you have no problem with that, please just be there. Don't compare yourself to any other people. Just be absolutely happy, live an amazing life there. Not a problem. But if you're someone who really wants to go to that level 9, level 10, then what I would encourage is to say, don't be afraid to go on that journey. You know, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really tough at some times. You're going to have to learn some new skills, learn some new techniques, apply some new habits, take on some new thinking, let go of some old beliefs, identities, and values. But that's all part of the process. And don't be stuck in that 7 or 8 cycle. That's where I'm coming from, that's a core message, which is if you're 7 or 8, think about where do you want to be? Do you want to be going to the 9 or 10 where you really push yourself? Or actually, because you were comparing yourself to other people, that's why you got yourself to 7 or 8, but I'm actually quite happy staying at 1, at 2, or 3, not a problem, then feel free to do that. But 7 or 8 is where I call the illusion of growth and the illusion of happiness even, because you tell yourself one story when the behavior is doing something completely different. So I just want to do it very quickly, not super complex stuff. It's just like a Reflection Friday. So before we clock off for the week, I just want to share something really quick, and that's the thing I want to share. And I hope that you enjoy it. And if you do, let me know, or just comment below and tell me what you'd like to learn or understand moving forward. I'll see if I can create a video out of it. Apart from that, have an amazing weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Adios, goodbye.